Hey kids, Treacle here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you the 10 things that I'm hoping for from Mariah Carey's newly announced memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey. So we've known that Mariah has been working on her memoir for a while now. We haven't had too many details until very recently. Previously, she has made a couple of references to it in interviews and on social media posts and things like that. But we finally got the news we were waiting for. She has announced that her memoir is being released this September 29th, and it is titled The Meaning of Mariah Carey. So before we get stuck into what I hope for from the book, I just want to talk really quickly about the title and the cover. So the first title we heard, rumor-wise, was I Had a Vision of Love, referencing her debut single, Vision of Love, released 30 years ago this year. So that seemed apt and appropriate. I was happy with that. Then the next rumored title we heard was The Meaning of Mariah. I preferred that one, I guess. And then now we have it. The final official confirmed title of the memoir is The Meaning of Mariah Carey. Personally, I think it sounds better just left as The Meaning of Mariah, but The Meaning of Mariah Carey probably serves it better in terms of how it's going to look on the bookshelf and search engine returns and things like that. I saw some division amongst the Lamely on Twitter about the title, but even more so with the cover. Now, the image we got is a cast off or a leftover or a reserved photo from the shoot that she did for her Billboard magazine cover and feature at Christmas. So I was lucky enough to import a copy. I had a copy sent to me. I love this photo shoot. I love this look. I think it's a great choice. Now, we don't know what has happened with the plans. Potentially Mariah was going to have a photo shoot specifically for the memoir, but because of the pandemic, maybe those plans had to be scrapped. And so they have reached into her catalog of recent photos and they went with something from this photo shoot. Or perhaps it was always the intention to use something from that photo shoot and the photo that has been chosen was specifically chosen and reserved. We don't know. I understand that some people wanted there to be a specific photo shoot just for the memoir. Perhaps that was the original plan. It had to be scrapped. We don't know. Ultimately, it's a great photo. Mariah looks beautiful, and at the end of the day, it's what's inside the book that we really care about. As I said, we didn't really know much at all about the memoir. We were anticipating a possible September release. We had an idea what the title might be, but we didn't know anything specific until a few days ago when Mariah posted the following on her social media. It took me a lifetime to have the courage and the clarity to write my memoir. I want to tell the story of the moments, the ups and downs, the triumphs and traumas, the debacles and the dreams that contributed to the person I am today. Though there have been countless stories about me throughout my career and very public personal life, it's been impossible to communicate the complexities and depths of my experience in any single magazine article or a 10-minute television interview. And even then, my words were filtered through someone else's lens, largely satisfying someone else's assignment to define me. This book is composed of my memories, my mishaps, my struggles, my survival, and my songs. Unfiltered, I went deep into my childhood and gave the scared little girl inside me a big voice. I let the abandoned and ambitious adolescent have her say, and the betrayed and triumphant woman I became tell her side. Writing this memoir was incredibly hard, humbling, and healing. My sincere hope is that you are moved to a new understanding, not only about me, but also about the resilience of the human spirit. From what I can see online from the fans, everyone's getting really excited. It sounds like she's going to be pretty honest and she wants to share the positives and the negatives, things she's really proud of, lessons that she's learned along the way throughout her illustrious 30-year career. And that's what I took from that message as well. I think she's going to be really honest and transparent, and it's going to be a very interesting read for us fans. So we know the memoir is coming, we have a confirmed title and release date. Let's jump into the 10 things that I'm hoping we get from the book. Number 1, chapters on her childhood and adolescence. Now, I don't want her to spend too much time talking about her childhood, but I think it is really, really important. She grew up with her Irish mother and her Black Venezuelan father, and she has spoken before, sometimes at reasonable length, about the difficulties that brought her family. And I think it's important that she does address that. That sets up her whole life, after all. There are things that she saw, heard, and experienced that she references in songs like Close My Eyes, where she talks about growing up too soon and seeing things that a child shouldn't have to. And I want to hear a little bit more. I'd love for her to peel back the layers just a little bit more. Number 2, the truth about Tommy. Of course, I'm talking about Tommy Mottola, the former head of Sony Music, who gave her her big career break and to whom she was married. This is a really key relationship for her to talk about. We know he was very controlling. She had limited freedom in her personal life and also her work life. I would love for her to open up about that. And when she has previously said that certain people are not happy that she's writing this memoir, Tommy Mottola's name is at the top of that list, at least in my head. So I really hope she does kind of feel free enough to open up and just give it to us now and tell us some of the things that she had to endure. I think there's more to give. There's stuff that we think we know, and there's things that we don't even know that we don't know. And I really hope she opens that door. And I don't need her to drag him. I don't need her to read him to filth, but I want her to say as much as she can, as much as she wants to. And I want her to feel safe, confident, and comfortable to do that, because there's plenty of tea to spill regarding Tommy, I'm sure. That brings me on to number 3, other key relationships. Is she going to talk about her siblings, past childhood and adolescence? Is she going to talk to us a little bit about how things are now between them all as adults? That I'm very interested to learn. Key friends such as longtime backup singer Trey Lorenz and her longtime friend and makeup artist Christopher Buckle, they are key people in her day-to-day, week-on-week, year-on-year life that we see all across her social media, public appearances, concerts, things like that. They've obviously got such tight-knit, close relationships. They're very, very dear to her in her inner circle, and I would love to hear more about the origins of these relationships and the role that these people play in her life beyond their, day-to-day duties with backing vocals and makeup. I'm also very interested in whether Mariah is going to open up much and talk to us about her relationships, her private relationships with other musical icons. I'm talking about Prince, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, any behind the scenes stories, any moments. Number 4, her voice. Now, Mariah's voice is her instrument. Obviously, it has changed over the years. She doesn't sing the same, she doesn't sound the same. I wouldn't expect anyone to sound the same 30 years into their career, especially when they have done as much as Mariah has done, and especially when their songs are as challenging as she writes them. So I'm not expecting her to sound the same in 2020 as she did back in 1990. We know that things like humidity and the weather, air conditioning, how much sleep she does or doesn't get, all of these things affect her voice, her instrument. So I'm again interested how much she's going to open up and talk about that. Now, I don't know how much Mariah is going to be willing to talk about her voice. I think perhaps it's going to open her up to being a bit vulnerable, maybe talking about how her voice has changed over the years, difficulties working through nodules, things like that. So I don't know how comfortable she's going to be doing that, showing us vulnerability about her voice, because that is what she's known for. But I hope that she will share at least a little something. Number 5, the stories behind the songs. Mariah is a prolific songwriter. Her songwriting is one of the main reasons that I and many others love her. And in the past, she hasn't liked to be tied down too much in interviews when asked what a particular song is about or who it is about. She, as many songwriters do, like to leave it loose and open so that we can all connect to the music in our own way and put our own interpretation on it. However, there are a number of songs that have a fairly strong narrative. It's clearly got somebody or a situation in mind, and I would love for her to just let us in a little bit and talk about the meaning and the inspiration, the people even behind some of the songs like The Roof, Lullaby, and so many more. Number 6, the glitter era. This is a very important part of the book. I'm sure she's going to cover it. I think, she knows she has to cover it, and I think it's certainly one area that average Joe public would be expecting and looking for. And her infamous 2001 album and movie Glitter, that was not as commercially successful as she would have liked it to be, that everyone expected it to be. She had her emotional breakdown. There was a lot of negative press surrounding her, and it was the first time she experienced that. She was on a high for 10, 11 years, and then she had this downward trajectory on her career roller coaster. We learned years later, just a couple of years ago in fact, that is when she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So I think she knows that in writing her memoir, she has to address this period. And from the bit she put on her social media, and she said that she's happy to talk about her ups and downs, I think we're all fully expecting this is something that she is going to talk about. Number 7, unseen photos. I'm really hoping that in the memoir we get 1 or 2 sections in the book. You get to the middle and you've got the glossy pages, you've got some photos in there. I'm hoping we get 1 or 2 of those. I would love for her to share some previously unseen photos from her childhood and throughout her career, maybe some backstage moments, maybe some previously private photos with other celebrities, singers, and things like that. So I'm hoping we get some new photos here. Number 8, exclusive tea. You don't spend as many years as Mariah has, and you don't have as much success as she has without seeing a lot, hearing a lot, and learning a lot. I would love for her to share some things that we never knew about. There are things that we're wanting her to tell us more about in this book, but I'd love for her to surprise us and hit us with something that we never knew. Stories that we never knew about, arguments or disagreements with the label that we never knew about, possible collaborations with other artists that were set up, possibly even recorded, and then were scrapped for whatever reason. There are all these things that we're expecting her to talk to us about, but I'd love for her to hit us with something completely unexpected. Number 9, regrets and reflections. Mariah has enjoyed a 30-year-long career so far. There have been plenty of ups and downs. What has she learned? When she looks back, are there moments of her career that she doesn't like to look back on, makes her feel uneasy, or she just cringes at? We've all looked at choices in her career, whether it's her personal choices or it's management choices, label decisions, whatever it may be, and we've not 100% agreed or understood. For me, I struggled with the whole Stella era. It was a management choice and the style, I don't know. There were a lot of things being worn. There were a lot of things being said and done and posted on her social media that didn't quite sit right with me for where I felt Mariah was within her career. That's one example. I'd love for her to open up on that. If she regrets anything around those years, which are fairly recent. But yeah, any regrets, any lessons learned. And number 10, future plans. Now, the memoir is coming out in her 30th year. This is a pivotal moment, a perfect moment to reflect on everything that she's done and consider what her hopes are for the future. She's achieved so much. She can pretty much do as much or as little as she wants now, right? But if there's anything that she would love to do, then I think it'd be great to have some kind of tease, or to say, maybe in 5 years I want to do this, or maybe after a couple more albums I'd like to do that kind of tour or this kind of record. I don't know, but I'd love for her to kind of set us up and build us up with some kind of excitement for future projects. That's my list of what I'm hoping for from Mariah's memoir. I hope we get all of that and so much more. Let me know in the comments what you are hoping for. Do you have any ideas, suspicions, or wish list? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to read that. The Meaning of Mariah Carey is out September 29th and is available for pre-order everywhere. Hit the like button if you have already pre-ordered yours. I hope you have. Anyway guys, that's all for today. If you're watching and you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button and support my channel. I love you for doing that. Check back soon for more content. I will see you again very soon. Cheers, thanks a lot.